Well, I first got interested in pronunciation way back at the beginning of my teaching career. I got telephoned by a local teacher training centre, and they asked me if I'd give a course on the intonation of English. And I said yes, and put the phone down, and almost immediately realised that although I'm a native speaker and I use the intonation system without any problem intuitively, I actually knew nothing about the intonation of English. So a bit nerve-wracking giving the course, but I realised that this complex intonation system was really interesting, and that pronunciation was really interesting, and that learners of English were really interested in pronunciation. I've been hooked on this ever since. Well, I think that one of the things that we need to always keep in mind when we're working with young teenagers is that they're going through a difficult time. They're going through adolescence, and they're trying to come to terms with new identities. Now, accent and identity are very closely linked. So it really shouldn't surprise us if we meet with a certain resistance from young teenagers as we try to practice and perfect the sounds of English. I can remember hating practicing different vowels of French at school when I was a teenager. You couldn't really get it right. If you got it right for your teacher, then your friends mocked you in the playground afterwards. And if you got it right for your friends, which meant you had a pretty bad French accent, then you were in trouble with your teacher. I think we need to keep that in mind permanently when we're working with young teenagers and be tolerant of their efforts. But above all, what we need to do is to avoid asking for public performance, because if they're performing in front of their peers, you're really asking them to do an impossible task. Oh, 3 things for the teacher. Okay, number 1, pronunciation is a psychomotor skill. In other words, it's something that you do, and what matters is your ability to do it much more than what you might know. Okay, you might know that f is a labiodental fricative. Who cares? Can you do f? And that's what students need. They need to be able to do, and to be able to do, they need to be practicing again and again. So it's something that we need to do 5 minutes at the beginning of each lesson, 5 minutes at the end. We need lots of it. Number 2, pronunciation won't take care of itself. You can't just assume that because the book's got pronunciation exercises, students' pronunciation will get better. As teachers, we've got to make pronunciation important, we've got to give it space, and we've got to help students to get better and show them that they're getting better at their pronunciation. And number three, a native speaker accent, I think, is an unrealistic goal for the vast majorities of learners of English, and for some it's absolutely unnecessary. So don't get too worried if your students are Spanish and they still sound a little bit Spanish when they speak in English. As long as they're intelligible, that's enough. That's 3, isn't it? Yeah. Practical things. Number 1, build pronunciation into your lessons. Make it part of almost every lesson. For example, if you're teaching new vocabulary, almost inevitably there's going to be a sound or 2 or 3 different sounds that are making the learning and the pronouncing of those new words difficult. And remember that if a student can't pronounce a word confidently, it's actually very difficult for the student to learn that word, to memorize the word. So build pronunciation into all of your lessons. Number 2, give students tangible rewards. If we want them to get interested in pronunciation, we've got to give them something for the efforts that they make. And the most tangible reward that you can give a student as they go up through secondary school is a mark for their pronunciation. Now, you can give them a mark on an informal basis by listening to them as they're working on different activities, or you can actually get them to record bits of English, individual words or little sentences, and they can do this on their smartphones, and they can do it on iPads and things like that, and then you can give them a mark and they feel that pronunciation is worth the effort. And number 3, well, remember to work on all aspects of pronunciation. It's very tempting to work only on the sounds, but sounds are not everything. And if you do work on the sounds, remember that the consonants are more important for intelligibility than the vowel sounds, where there's more tolerance of difference. And also, If you do work on other things like stress, remember that sentence stress is incredibly important for intelligibility, and it's something that students are quite good at if you give them the opportunity.